Your time is up.
I'm not the doctor. I just built you.
Building progress is insufficient. Exterminate.
Before you exterminate me, can I show you some code?
Systems compatible. Extermination halted.
Wow, that was close. Okay, now when I'm not in danger of being exterminated, let's take a look at what is inside of that mechanical beast and what lessons you can learn from my mistakes. Most of the work I did is described in the first video, where I 3D printed the Dalek parts based on Thingiverse design, put together electronics and code to make a very tiny language model speak like a villain from Doctor Who TV show. I was under a time limit to make it work before Halloween, so I decided to skip the motors and have it stationary. I promised you to get back to it, and now I am. FYI, the links to the build instructions and 3D model downloads are in the video description. Make sure to check them out after you finish watching the video. In most of my projects involving electronics and circuits, if something goes wrong, it is the power. It is way too easy to get a magical smoke out of the dev board, or quite the opposite, when everything seems to be working just fine, find out the controller board browns out when the motors draw too much current. Both of these things happened with the Dalek robot. I burned one ESP32 extension board by connecting 15-volt power supply to it. It is rated for 6.5 to 16 volts, but well, I guess they lied. Then when I got a new expansion board and connected the battery to the barrel jack of that expansion board and 5-volt pin to the motor controller, I quickly realized that ESP32 starts rebooting as soon as the motors encounter any resistance. The solution was to connect the battery to L298N module and take 5 volts from the module to power ESP32. Speaking about the motor controller, don't use L98N unless you absolutely have no other choice. It's very old, power inefficient chip which loses a lot of voltage. Meaning that if, for example, if you have 7.4 volt battery, then you will only get around 5 volt for the motors. The voltage drop is more significant for higher voltages. I found two alternatives. You can see the chip names on the screen now. Having said that, if you really don't care about efficiency, L298N or L293D are very cheap, quite reliable, and they have a lot of resources around them to help you if you're just starting out with the motor drivers. Once all the power troubles were solved, I needed to figure out how to fit all the electronics inside. The motors were simply glued with the hot glue gun to the chassis. And then I designed and 3D printed a rectangle to glue on top of the motors to hold the motor controller and the amplifier for the speakers. The battery fitted nicely in front and the speakers went to the back of the chassis. The only issue was where to put the ESP32 board. My original idea was printing a scaffolding that would be attached with the screws to the chassis. This is where I tripped and I spent quite a lot of time designing and redesigning the scaffolding to make it sturdier and not break that easily. In the end, I decided for now it's not worth the effort and I simply made it into another rectangle with the rounded edges. Code modification was not too difficult. I took the relevant parts from my remote-controlled Smart Spider robot project. One thing that surprised me at first was that on switching on, the Dalek would start spinning crazily. Turns out ESP32 has quite a few so-called strapping pins. They're pulled either up or down during the boot. If the pin is pulled up on boot, this will cause the motor driver to give the current to the motor and off it goes. The solution, if you have enough pins, don't use those special pins. I think my mission of building exterminating LLM-powered Dalek is complete now. Share, hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see me building a bigger, half-human-sized version of it in future. If this video gets 50,000 views, I will do it.